Hello. Um, I am getting on here to share with you my story. I believe that um, every one of us has a story worthy of sharing, and um, I think everything, single thing that we've gone through, um, shapes us in any way, in some ways or another. And um, when we share, we truly are, and just take the parts of our story and put them together. Then when you share them, when you exteriorize those stories, I believe you give the option and the chance for others to share theirs. And so I'm going to start by saying my name is Denise Gooden. I was born in Argentina. I don't know if you noticed by my accent, but I was born in a little bitty town in the middle of the country. I was raised by my mother and my grandmother. A very powerful group of women. I was raised in the middle of the country, as to say, our roads were dirt roads. There was a lot of adventure growing up, like climbing on trees and um, getting lost in the middle of, I don't know, the outdoors, just exploring bugs, exploring different plants. I remember my grandma had a huge backyard, and she raised raised all these trees and all these herbs and plants and vegetables, and she even had hens, a lot of hens growing up, so we would have fresh eggs from those hens. She loved baking bread. I still remember the smell of fresh baked bread that she would do, and she wouldn't use like a conventional oven to make the bread, like to bake it, of course, but it was an outside kind of stone grill that she would use to bake that bread. So it was extra special. I had all of these kind of exposures to nature and to food and to all the smells and all the flavors. She had tons and tons of flowers that she would grow, and I just grew up like seeing the hard work that she would put in growing plants from the seed in the ground, and she would water them and bring all the nutrients that plants needed, all the little funny ingredients you find in nature to make that soil really rich in nutrients, and then she would see it grow, and like she would water it every single day. She really loved being out and working in nature, and I appreciated that a lot, and I learned a lot from my grandma. But long story short, after I grew up, I went to college to the big city. I I got away from all the wonderful things in nature, basically. A lot of pollution, a lot of just fast and easy foods, because my grandma wasn't there for cooking homemade meals anymore. You know, life in college is kind of crazy, right? But then I met who was going to be my husband, and he was from the U.S. And I remember I was going to college to learn English. I was going to become a translator, and I just remember meeting this amazing team for the first time. They were coming all the way from the U.S. to help with missions with students in my church. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. 30 plus people coming all the way from the US to help to talk about Jesus, and it was just kind of crazy to me. But I met this weird guy, like I would call him. He was just very interesting, very enthusiastic, very funny. I was the kind of person that I was more shy, more quiet. And I wouldn't be very outspoken. I was just there to help them um, with interpretation, because they needed interpretation to be able to be understood, since they spoke English and we all spoke Spanish. And so, um, but long story short, we grew this online relationship after he came back home, and we ended up getting married. And today we have 2 kids. And I just remember moving here for the first time. And I was very excited because I was marrying the man of my life, but at the same time, it was very overwhelming for me. The change in cultures, the change in language, but also the changes in expectations, because cultures are different. And so I wanted to, of course, fit in. I wanted to do what everyone else was doing or expecting of me. And that was really hard, because a lot of times that would be very different from the way I grew up and the way in my culture, I interacted with people. And me being shy and introverted, it was extra difficult to be able to relate to other people. And once I had my kids, that became even harder, because I had a lot of new mom struggles, and I was also in pain most of the time, because just my body was weak. It wasn't getting all the fuel and good stuff that it needed to work in a proper way. And I was just struggling because I was tired, exhausted. I was over the moon to be able to be a mother and raise my kids, but I didn't have my family here to help me. And I felt that all I've learned from childhood growing up, I learned that I had to be strong, that I had to somehow figure out on my own how to do life without my family back in Argentina, without any family here. My husband would be at work all day, and I didn't have friends. We just moved to a new city, so we were just making new contacts with new people. But like I said, the difference in cultures and my personality is just a lot compounded, and just really hard. I don't know if you can identify, if you're an introvert like me, how hard it is to get out there. And even if you don't have kids, like, even more so, I believe, because once you have kids, you can relate with other mothers. But getting out of my comfort zone, but it was extra difficult for me because I was exhausted. My body just wasn't working like it would normally work. I would wake up and I would just feel, I want to go back to bed, and it's just constantly working overload, and just trying to survive. It was crazy. But what changed this situation was one person that saw a need and came to my house and brought me these amazing tools that she had to help her family with everyday stuff, like everyday things that you do in your family, from I don't know, soothing a baby to soothing a respiratory system, to helping with stress and anxiety, and relieving or relaxing, helping your body relax, and also giving you the extra energy that your body sometimes needs. Your body can build up all this energy, and you can use it appropriately. But if it doesn't have the right tools and the right nutrients, it just doesn't. But this was not only these tools that my friend presented to me, but it ended up being a whole community of people just caring for your specific needs, answering questions, answering your phone calls, being there for you at all times. And just that right there was what changed my life, because all these people pour into me, just gave me that longing that I had for connection, for building new relationships, for knowing that I have a support system very, very far away from what I called home. And just know that looking at the future, I can't imagine a life without this amazing community that is Young Living, and a life without essential oils. I just see my kids growing up to being to living in their highest potential, and learning how to serve people, learning how to make connections, and how to be compassionate, and how to have a listening ear. And also, I just see ourselves going back to having a farm, and to raising cattle, and raising plants, and raising vegetables like my grandma used to be. And I am just so excited for what the future lies for us. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I would love to hear your own story, because like I said in the beginning, I believe that each of us is worthy of being heard, and each of your stories matters. Thank you.